Fred Vasseur is your Ferrari team principal, and I tell you what, boy has he got a job on his hands. But since thinking of disappointment, here are 9 things that Fred Vasseur needs to do if he wants to be a success at Ferrari. Number 1, and I promise you I'm not taking the mick here, he needs to keep his job. Now I know that sounds silly, but listen, how many team principals do we want to go through Ferrari? They keep thinking that the team principal is the problem, they keep changing team principal, and yet we have the same result year after year after year. Fred needs to convince Ferrari that the issues do not rely with him. It's like his biggest task this year. Number 2, he needs to embrace the Ferrari culture, but guard his heart whilst he's doing so. Mattia Binotto, Fabrizio Arrivabene, I mean, these are people who were embodied. They were in deep traditional culture at Ferrari, which was a good thing for them, but it also led to their downfalls. Ferrari were too stuck in their ways. They've been criticized for being too structured and too rigid in terms of their culture and tradition of the team. But now we've got Fred Vasseur in, not an Italian by the way, so maybe he can spice things up. He's coming from the outside looking in. He needs to be able to not get caught up in the nostalgia, in the presence of Ferrari, and keep a cool head and remember what he is here to do. Be in the tradition, embrace it, take on the good, but remove the bad, whatever the case may be, and guard your heart for goodness sake, because if you get caught up in the mix, like Mattia Binotto, I watched this man like literally a man who couldn't let go, and it was to the detriment of him, which I still think he should have been the Ferrari team principal, to be honest. But here we are, over to Fred Vasseur. Nothing really changed much in Ferrari because of the failure for adaptation. Maybe Fred's perspective, outside looking in, although he was in a jace with the Alfa Romeo, but the outside looking in, maybe he might bring something different to Ferrari once and for all. Number 3, manage expectations. You better tell those Ferrari fans, Fred, to calm the flip down, okay? To manage those expectations, because Ferrari fans, I'm sure, thought last year, this is it. We're going to become world champion. We're going to do it again. And listen, what can go wrong will go wrong with Ferrari. We already know these situations, okay? He needs to manage the expectations. And as you know, Ferrari fans, it is the hope that kills you. The car is brilliant. However, you need to have all the pieces, not just most of them. You need to have all of the pieces together in order to be a serious contender for the title, to be fighting for race wins and for fighting for championships, both constructor and driver. Which leads me on to number 4. You need to be more convincing this year. Fred, you've got to make Ferrari convincing, a convincing challenger this year. Because let's be honest, last year at the beginning you thought, great, here we are, they've arrived. But very quickly it petered out. I don't know why they use my name for things like this, but it petered out very quickly in Formula 1. By the time we got to the summer break, the title was done, okay? So in the grand scheme of things, they weren't really a challenger, really. They weren't serious, were they? We need more wins from pole positions, okay? Last year was an absolute disgrace. And you need to stay in the title race longer than the summer break. That's all I'm asking for you to be more convincing in terms of a challenger for Formula 1 titles. Number 5, this is going to be a tough one. Sort out the strategy. Have a fixed strategy, sort it out. Because a lot of Ferrari's problems last year in 2022 was the fact that the strategists, and not even just last year, by the way, years gone by, okay? Ferrari and strategy has just been a farce after farce after farce. Make it clear, make it short, make it simple. That's all I ask from you, Fred. And Ferrari as a whole, stop throwing people under the bus, okay? Let's just talk about it in a sense of, you know, here are some issues that we've got with the car or with whatever. You ain't got to start telling, you know, the strategist got it wrong, or the team principals got it wrong, or this one's got it wrong, or that driver's got it wrong. We just need to have no division, connectivity, okay? You need to be connected, all right? You need to be a family Ferrari. And don't have too many cooks. How many people are conversating on a team radio? It's outrageous. Charles Leclerc, I can hear him talking to about 4 or 5 different people on the radio. We don't need to be having that. I'm sure Charles wouldn't want that. I'm sure Carlos Sainz wouldn't want that either. Too many cooks spoil the what? The broth? Whatever the hell it is, right? Just keep it short, simple and concise, as I mentioned earlier. Number 6, at the right time, have a number 1 driver, for goodness sake. Last year you guys were mucking around. Charles Leclerc wins this race, Carlos Sainz wins that race. Then it's like, I don't know which way to go. It seemed like the half of the garage wanted Carlos to do well and half of the garage wanted Charles to do well. The team principal had his person, the team owner had their person, the CEO had their person. It was an absolute cluster. Ferrari, man, just pull it back, okay? Whoever's starting off well, whoever's looking good, whoever looks like they could be winning for the title this year, guess what? You put them as your number one driver. Fred, make the decision. Number 7, another tough one. I tell you what, I'm giving Fred a hard task here, a hard to-do list. But let me tell you, eradicate the politics, not just politics, Ferrari politics, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm talking about. Ferrari and their friggin' issues. They can't stop, can they? They can't help themselves. The relationship between Fred and the big cheeses at Ferrari, we need to have constant communication. You need to be flowing. It needs to be a nice, good relationship. Build some rapport so that you won't get into the cluster that these other team principals have had at Ferrari. Good luck. Number 8, this is important. Extend Charles Leclerc's contract. Remember, his contract in Formula 1, for Ferrari rather, ends in 2024. What we cannot have is a man of Charles Leclerc's caliber, Charles Leclerc's talent, going into the 2024 Formula 1 season on his last year at Ferrari, on his final year of that contract. It would be a disgrace. By the end of 2023 season, Charles Leclerc must know exactly what he is doing. If we're all up in arms not knowing what's going on, I tell you what, that does not look good. That does not bode well for Ferrari in the future. I tell you now, it will be astonishing if nothing is written in stone regarding Charles Leclerc in 2024, at least by the end of the 2023 season. I need to know what Charles is doing. Ferrari fans want to know what Charles is doing. Ferrari, you should want to know what Charles will be doing. And Fred, this is down to you, okay? Make it happen. You had him at what? Sauber, Alfa Romeo rather. Okay, you're part of the reason why he even got that gig at Ferrari in the first place. Make it happen. Probably why you were signed in the first place. The big vision and big plan for Ferrari should have Charles Leclerc written all over it. And number 9, very simple. It's very, very simple. Okay, find out what the problems are and fix them quickly. Too often, Ferrari sit in a problem, manure over the problem, chime in, let it marinate, and it carries on and it carries on, and nobody seems to arrest the situation. We wait for an entire season to end, then they think about arresting the situation, they then fire the team principal. No, Fred, once you see what the issues is, if there is an issue, you go there and you nip it in the bud. I hear you're a no-nonsense guy. I am yet to believe that. Let's see what you can do, because honestly, Ferrari, someone needs to beat you with a stick, because you guys are not serious. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the final mission for 2023 for Fred Vasseur, and in his first year at Ferrari as team principal. He's got his work cut out. Let's be very clear, okay? Anybody taking on that Ferrari job, honestly, like, nobody envies you. You know what I mean? And that should never be the case. Those are the 9 things Fred Vasseur must do in the 2023 season to succeed at Ferrari. Comment down below what you think he needs to be doing at Ferrari in order to arrest the mess that is at Ferrari. How will he succeed? I need some answers. Tell me, people, what does he need to do? Ferrari fans, come on, join in. Let me know what Fred Vasseur needs to do for Ferrari to be successful under his tenure. YouTube thinks you will like this video over here, or you can watch my latest video right over here. Thank you for joining me. You're in pole position. Until next time, lights out.